Gosh, the wind speeds are almost the same. I'd have to get the chart to compare, but what the difference is, the old Fujita scale only took into account wind speed and wind speed alone.
Oh, okay.
The EF enhanced Fujita scale takes into account construction materials. So it took
power and wind speed.
Power and wind speed
So
and
is
construction
that
and building
analysis
stuff.
made while it's on the ground? We had an EF2 on the ground, or we had an EF2?
Often that determination is made after they do a damage assessment. Because you could have a mobile home destroyed and this house over here is intact, and mobile homes, in fact, they will not rate any tornado. The only damage they see is to a mobile home and there are no other houses around. They will never rate that any higher than an EF2 because they know what the maximum wind it takes to do that kind of damage. And you could have a barn destroyed, which is poorly constructed, and a house okay. But if you only had the wind speed, it might be harder to determine what wind speed it took to take down the barn. So they take into account construction materials too. It's kind of complicated. They have a chart for it, but they're roughly still equivalent. But now they're taking into account more factors. So it just refines it a little bit.
I have a question. Have they ever stated why the center part of your house is the safe? I mean, obviously with no windows, but I'm just wondering if it's because when the tornado passes over, if the outside walls are the first to take all the abuse, the inner walls less likely to. I mean, I just kind of curious.
The more protection you have, more walls between you and the outside, just the safer you. The lower you are, the safer you are, and the more walls you've got between you and the outside, the safer you are.
Well, I was kind of wondering if it's because, like, say for example, if it's going to go dead towards your house, if the exterior walls take the burn of the abuse, and by the time it passes over,
What happens is usually air gets into your house, and somehow or another, maybe it's your garage. The garage doors are your weakest part of your house, and so if they're not reinforced properly, then that air gets in. It's got to go somewhere. It's generally going up. Well, you've already got air going over the top of the roof, so it creates lift. It's got that, and then you've got air pushing up, so then your roof goes. Once your roof on your garage goes, then it makes the rest of your house more vulnerable. If the roof of your house goes, the walls no longer have any structural support, so they cave in.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you left with? The walls and the interior of your house. So you want to do everything you can to keep that wind out of your house.
Okay. It almost sounds like when those walls do, because it sounds to me like in that situation, the walls would fall on you, but I think you said the number one killer is the flying debris. So if anything, it probably provides a little bit of perfection because it'll hit the drywall and whatnot before it hits you. So
anything you do is an old wives' tale about lifting the window on one side of the house or on both sides of the house to equalize pressure. Don't even worry about that. Take cover. That's the most important thing. That's a myth about the pressure.
You know, and that's interesting you mention that because I read back in the 60s that was the common theory was if a tornado's coming, just go open your windows. But now they're saying you ain't got time for that crap. Get in your closet. It's going to smash your windows out anyways.
That's exactly right. It doesn't make any difference. My dad was a meteorologist, and we grew up doing tornado drills and talked about. They said back then you put your windows up, and we would do all that stuff. And the thinking is different today.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Okay, cars can be deadly. You don't want to be caught in your car if you can help it. You can see it can be pierced by lumber and other debris. Here's a car over here. Look how that was left as a result of a very strong tornado. You don't want to go up into an underpass. There used to be a commercial or a little documentary which showed people going up under the underpass. What happens? And now you've narrowed the area where the wind is going through. What happens to the wind speed when you narrow the area? It increases. Okay, so its increase is more likely to actually blow you out, or you're more likely to get hit by flying debris. So you don't want to go up under the underpass. Ideally, you want to get to a safe shelter. If you can't, you can lay. This is a desperation. Go lay down in the ditch. If you decide to stay in your car, roll up your windows and try to get down below the level of the windows. That is your last option. You really don't want to do that. You want to be somewhere else. Cars can be rolled, flipped. You can see what happens here. So try not to be in your car. If you caught outside, move to a shelter. If not, get as low as possible. Use a ditch, crouch down, cover your head from flying debris.
Put your head between your knees.
So put your hand between your knees.
Straight line
Kiss your ass
winds,
goodbye.
debris is a number killer at any straight line winds, and you can see from our straight line wind chart down here, we have most of the events in central North Carolina from May to about July, August, and then they drop off. Straight line winds can look like tornado damage. You can see up here. Tornado damage is often best seen from above. In comparison to microbursts, but in tornado damage, the debris is all different ways. In straight line wind damage, you'll see trees fanned out in one direction, but it's often seen best from above. Straight line winds in Raleigh at RDU, toppled a number of planes, flipped them over one day. Okay, special form of straight line winds is your downburst. You've got a thunderstorm, and there are several theories about how a downburst occurs, but basically you've got rain cooled air which hits dry air, it evaporates, becomes even cooler, and so descends rapidly to the ground and fans out, and you often see a rain foot because the rain often occurs with it. And they can be just as damaging as tornado winds. And here's an example of you can go into the next one, a downburst. I hope you'll be able to see this here. You may have to click it. There we go. Okay, here it comes. Can you see that?
Whoa. It's like water falling.
Okay, whenever you notice how it came down and it kind of spread out to the side, that's called a rain foot. If you're looking in the distance and see a rain foot, you know a downburst has occurred. It's just like if I took this cup of liquid and turned it over, how it would hit the ground and fan out. Okay. All right, flash flooding, number one killer. So it only takes 2 feet of water to wash a car off the road. So if you see a flooded area, please do not go through it. Turn around, don't drown. And here's an example in Hurricane Floyd. Watch the first car. Water's not too deep. It is flowing across the roadway. Everybody remember Floyd?
Mm-hmm.
Truck's doing okay. Car seems to be doing okay so far. Still
That
not
is fast moving, but.
fast moving water.
Whoever gets you, it's
There's
got
your car.
It's going. It's going.
The people were smart who were just watching from the other area.
Oh, that's
you know,
another car?
so
No?
Oh, yeah.
It's going.
Truck turns around across there. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing it. Okay.
That's his phone pole stopping.
Now, I will tell you, I don't know how in the world, but this guy managed to pull it out. He was very lucky because he could have been swept away. It could have been easily drowned.
Oh, wow.
But can you get an idea? It doesn't take much water. He lucked out. If his wife had been in the car with him, I guarantee you he got an earful.
She was in the car with him? Or?
I told you we'd make it, Eunice. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, even though the water is shallow, there's still danger. This was from Hurricane Matthew. This was in North Carolina. Truck goes, it doesn't look very deep, it's flowing. Watch over here on the other lane. He hasn't been past but about 30 seconds.
Oh, there's the road.
So you don't know how long that road is going to remain structurally attached. You can't tell. So you don't want to cross.
Oh, there's the rest of it.
I learned that.
New bridge.
Old Smithfield Road, that 18-wheeler went through there on Memorial.
I had the
Was this man?
road washed out
Pardon?
just north of my house.
That was Matthew.
I learned that in South Carolina with Matthew big time. There was several roads, guys would come out to your yard and show you a picture of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd see it, I'd turn around and go, well, I mean,
Smart. It's especially hard to judge water depth at night, and you can't tell what's under the water, you know, how deep it is, whether the road's intact. You can't tell whether there's a dip in the road or whatever. So you're very smart. Okay?
It's especially true with folks that have the 4-wheel drive that I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Gang that really wants
Yeah, you do it.
This was either Matthew or Irma. I can't remember. I'd have to look it back up. But the signs were up, turn around, don't drown, you know. This woman decided, I'm going to ignore the sign. She went through it anyway, was swept away, and this was her car the next day. So if you see a barrier put up, please don't drive around it. There's a reason it was there.
They had one get swept over.
She make it through, or?
Drive, they found him about 3 to 4 days later.
And I don't know the answer to that.
Oh.
Okay, you're a spotter, you're going to observe flooding. Is this safe?
Nope.
Okay, the bridge could go out at any time. You don't know how structurally sound it is. It's flowing water. It only takes 6 inches to knock you off your feet. There could be stuff in that water, all kinds of stuff, sewers, snakes, fire
Bacteria.
ants, chemicals. Electrical wires. So, you know, if you're observing, always observe from a safe location. Okay. All right, and again, we just talked about contaminated water. This was down in, I think, Texas. Anyway, you can see the chemical petroleum products on the water. You don't want to wade through this water. It has sewer in it, snakes, all kinds of chemicals.
They had some of this issue in Hurricane Harvey in Houston too. There was a lot of places that we would get dispatched to. You'd have a walk from, I don't know, 100 yards that would normally be dry as waist deep. And anyway, yeah, you could see the oil slick on top of it. Just turn around and go.
And yet there were picture after picture of people in Harvey swimming in the water. Kids,
Yeah.
parents would let them swim, and it's full of contaminants. Okay. Also, a new one is, you'll click on that picture. This is from Columbia, South Carolina.
Whoa.
When they had the flooding. Fire ants will band together. They stand on top of each other, and they create a flooding island which can last up to 48 hours. You do not want to come in contact with that.
Wow. So that's nothing but ants together. That's it. There's no dirt or nothing.
Just fire ants on top of each other.
Wow. I never knew they could do that. It's pretty
Lightning
cool.
occurs with all thunderstorms, 50 to 60 deaths a year, and most lightning victims are going to a safe place. They just waited too long. What do you think the number one occupation is for fatalities due to lightning?
Lawn care.
Occupation.
Occupation, probably a morticianist. I don't know.
Roofers. Okay? Roofers. Number one for fatality. What do you think the number one hobby is? Recreation. That causes. You're close, but there's something else that won out. Fishing. Fishing. Okay, people are out on boats, they're fishing, they're on the bank. Okay. All right. You want to seek shelter, you want to be in an enclosed building, like a house, a business, or whatever. What's not safe? Porches, gazebos, tents, picnic shelters. Okay?
This is not nearly as fun as field day. I'm talking about, yeah, just good grief, man. Wayne County, we get hit hard every field day.
Cars are generally safe if they're hard-top vehicles, not convertibles. Okay?
2 years.
You're going to whip through these. Okay, you want to avoid metallic fences. Lightning struck this metallic fence. It traveled several miles down, and there were cows close to the metallic fence. And I have a big picture of this, and I can't tell you how many cows. There were too many cows for me to count that were up against the fence. And some people felt that that was too shocking. So anyway, and if you'll go back one.
Heck of an electric fence.
You don't want to be under a tree. This was in West Virginia 2 years ago. Lightning struck the tree, and all the cows were underneath. They were killed. If you're out in a group, you don't want, this is a lesson. You don't want to be too close to the person beside you when you assume you're lightning desperation. You want to be 15, 20 feet away. And this is not mean to sound mean-spirited, but if he and I are out there and I'm 20 feet away, if he's struck, it's going to be less damage or injury to me than if I'm standing if I'm in the lightning desperation position, I'm 6 feet away from him. So I want to minimize my I want to maximize my distance from somebody else if we're caught out. Something like that. Okay?
I only have to outrun you, though.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. If you're outside and you feel the hair on your head begin to stand up or on your arms, you get a slight metallic taste in your mouth, your skin feels like it's tingling, it's a sign you could be in a position to be struck by lightning.
How much time you got?
2 seconds. So, if I were right there and I could run into the building, I'd run inside. But otherwise, you want to get away from trees. You want to avoid open spaces, get as low as possible. You're going to minimize your injury by putting only the balls of your feet on the ground. You're not going to lie flat out on the ground. You're maximizing your injuries then. You're going to cover your ears because often eardrums are blown. You can minimize the effect. You don't want to be close to a tree because you can get a side strike. This is your desperation position. Remember, this is your last place you want to be caught outside. If you hear thunder, you're in danger of being struck. So you want to go inside as soon as you hear the thunder. This was this year, 4:08 p.m., July 18th. 39-year-old male took cover under a large tree on Vance and Crespi Streets in Sanford, and he was struck by lightning. So, it does happen, okay? So, you hear lightning, see thunder, you're struck, you're in danger of being struck, go to safe shelter. Wait 30 minutes after the last thunder is heard before you go out. Okay? You can also be struck by lightning, even though you're not under the thunderstorm. It's called lightning out of the blue. Lightning can travel 15, even more miles, 20 miles away from the parent thunderstorm. It's called a positive strike. And those that strike out of the blue tend to be higher charged than those directly underneath the thunderstorm, and so you're much more likely to be a fatality. So you hear thunder at all, that's why you take cover. All right, real quickly, we'll really zip through this. We're in Hurricane Alley. These are all Category 1 storms from the time we have recorded storms up until, I think this went through 2010, within 60 miles of Raleigh. Give you an example. Most of our hurricanes occur, they peak in September, October, and November, as you know. Okay. The main dangers: storm surge, inland flooding, high winds, and tropical tornadoes. And no matter where you live in North Carolina, you're at risk. If you're on the coast, you've got storm surge, inland flooding, high winds, tropical tornadoes. We have everything in central North Carolina except for storm surge. The mountains are subject to mudslides because of all the rain. And you had a comment, sir. Go ahead.
I was saying last year, Matthew, about the AF0 tornado, and right by my house. Right there. That's the only damage we had was that.
And they spin up quickly, spin down quickly. There's not a whole lot of warning. In the April 2011 tornadoes, I forgot what the warning time on the average was. I think it was 18 to 20 minutes, somewhere there. A lot of warning. And these tropical tornadoes, you may only have, by the time the warning is issued, the event can almost be over. So it's just minutes. So the tropical ones, they tend to be weak, EF0s and EF1s. Please evacuate if you're told to do so. How many of you watch the Weather Channel? And how many of you see them out there? They wade out into the water, or they're facing the winds, and they want to show you what it's like. Well, I saw this one little clip, and I hope you'll bear with me. You'll click on the link.
But anyway, they evacuated the keys, and everybody leaves except for one guy who's going to stay there and tie himself to a tree on the beach to prove a point. And the point was, he said that at 53 years of age, he was in good enough physical condition to withstand the wind and the rain from a 4th Street hurricane. Let me explain something to you. It isn't that the wind is blowing. It's what the wind is blowing. If you get hit with a Volvo, it doesn't really matter how many sit-ups you did that morning.
It's about true.
Okay, so this is from Katrina. This is the roof off a building. Now, for those who think I'm going to be outside and I'm going to go through that, Cat 3, Hurricane, Cat 4, and get my buddy to take a video or whatever, you know, you could be hit by this debris. A stop sign could blow off. You could be decapitated. You know, if you're told to evacuate, evacuate. If you have to stay, then be safe. Don't be out there. Okay? Okay. All right. You always want to be situationally aware. You want to have that NOAA weather radio on. You want to know what's happening. If you'll hit this one.
Another dangerous game kids play is to tunnel in snowbanks near the road. A few years ago, one boy...
Was she situationally aware? Yeah. So pay attention to your surroundings.
That driver was, he was laughing.
Please join us if you can. Check in on the Tuesday, 9:15 p.m. Central Carolina Skywarn information. We hear from some of y'all from time to time. Love to hear from you as often as you're able to check in. This is Nick Petro. He's the warning coordination meteorologist for the Raleigh National Weather Service. We usually have a weather briefing, and there are slides posted to the Central Carolina Skywarn website. You can view those as he's giving the briefing. You can ask him any question you want related to meteorology or the upcoming weather forecast, anything you want. It's your opportunity. Okay? Please like us on Facebook. We post lots of information there. We try to keep people up to date on the tropical situations, etc. And it's a great place for you to put your reports. Okay, we've got your name and address on the spotter class roll. Don't forget to register online after this class to complete your spotter certification, and it's good for 3 years. You can also listen to us live streamed whenever we activate or on Tuesday nights, www.broadcastify.com. So if you're at your computer, don't have a radio or scanner, you can listen to us by internet. Any questions?